Yeah, start the stream. Alright, now we're live on Facebook. Got the setup on IG going on. I don't know what's going on with the frame rate, but alright, y'all. It's your boy Absird. Welcome to another conversation. Y'all chat with Abby today. Y'all believe it's been another Sunday? Episode 54. You know, back when I was living in Arizona, me and my homies, we went to Sky Zone. It's a trampoline park. Now, I know I'm old, but I still got this youthful vigor. I got this energy. So the trampoline park, having fun. I got tired, super hell. Like played some dodgeball with some kids, and then they had this rock climbing. So I'm like, hey, yo, bro, let's go check out the rock climbing. So we go, we checking on the rock climbing, and now I'm feeling re-energized. I'm moving my muscles. I'm like, yeah, boy. Then they had this giant rock wall. So I'm like, hey, man, let's see if we can run it and grab the top, So I run, I jump up, grab the edges, and as I'm pulling myself up, the rest of my body swings into the wall, and I break my toe. It was excruciating. Like, don't get me wrong. I know I say it's just a toe, but if you understood how much you walk. So, bro, they only want to give me no water until I sign a liability waiver. I'm like, bro, you serious? Like, so I'm trying to walk it off, but it's too bad. So I go to the doctor. Doctor look at it. She says, well, looks like you have three options. We could either repair the toe. We can repair the toe, and then you'll get arthritis. We can break the toe, and then allow it to heal more properly. Realign it, and then you'll get arthritis. Or we can do nothing, and you'll get arthritis. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule you for next week. Just talk to the receptionist, and we're having a thing. At that moment, I had to decide. What is the future of my foot? Well, at that time, even though it was still excruciating pain, the healing process has already begun. And I know that because she said that they would have had to have re-broken it in order to correct the fracture. And then she kept inviting me. So I ended up coming the next week. She took an X-ray and repeated the exact same thing as before, and then wanted to schedule me for another week. And that third week, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do this again. Like, at this point, I can tell that this authority no longer has my best interest in mind. Now, would I have known how to resolve my foot issue without going to the doctor? Not at all. They had the equipment, they had the skill set, they studied and examined this particular set of data, and they were able to provide an explanation that made me I'm unlearned, I'm uneducated, but I was able to understand, And then I realized, I appreciate that information. I'll pay for these 2 visits, but I can't come back because I can tell that you're currently pursuing your self-interest. And there are oftentimes, right now I'm getting a lot of memes, reels and stuff that are exposing the levels of corruption within institutionalized corruption, where they're putting growth hormones allegedly. Well, it ain't even alleged at this point. Yeah, it ain't even alleged. I ain't even gotta pretend. Allegedly, legally speaking, I'm not even. Anyway, growth hormones in the water, along with chemicals that interfere with certain jail functions of your brain. How they are, manufacturing food supplies. How the value of the U.S. dollar, the U.S. economy itself, is being systematically demolished. And oftentimes, a lot of this information comes from the authorities. Like the authorities, they'll tell you, oh yeah, we're getting ready to get rid of third-party cash exchange systems. But then they go right back and, oh no, nothing to worry about. We were just joking. And it's this whole pattern, this cycle where oftentimes because of the information missing, the authorities, I listen to the authorities to help fill in the gaps in missing information. But as I continue to examine information that they give me, I start to see it's always a certain point. It always starts off with a half truth, and then 70% truth, and then 10% truth. It's like the same cycle of information. Whereas, hey, here's a half truth. All right, hey, you got me. Like, let's take COVID, right? They're like, hey, these are the symptoms of COVID. These is what you expect if you contact this disease. So people examine the data and say, hey, these symptoms match the same information for radiation poisoning. All right, you got us. There's some similarities, 70%. Then they came back. All right, here are the new symptoms, and it was like a complete switch between the recognition and the triggers. There are times where, even as a child, my mama, you'd hear with that, do as I say, not as I do. I'm like, but I don't see what you say. I see what you do. I'm going to copy your behavior because I'm seeing how your behavior is affecting the way you navigate the world. And as a child, I want to navigate the world, like my parents are doing, pretty much, And as a child is where I started to see the discrepancies within authority. Where, in school, do your work like this. Now, here's the thing. I'm autistic, and I have synesthesia. So often to me, things appear as different sounds, shapes, colors, and lights. And this is how my mind chooses to interpret data. So, in math class, they're explaining how the numbers work, and I'm starting to, visually see the formula. And so when a problem's being presented, the answer is just appearing to me. So I'm just looking, cool. So it's like 3 plus 4 is like, oh, 7. I'm just seeing 7 objects. So in other words, I'm not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just looking at these objects. And because I was able to do this with a lot of objects, then the methods that they were describing to me, show your work. I'm like, what do you mean show? All I did, I saw something and I wrote down what I saw. How many is this? 7. How do you know? Because I'm looking at it. I'm looking at 7. I'm looking at it. And that was an instance in which the authority, one, I was a child. There was no way I could have known that my experience was different than, my peers. Like, to me, I'm thinking everybody is seeing things this way. I'm thinking it's perfectly normal. And the authorities didn't try either. They just tried to force me to streamline into their algorithm that they were projecting. And as a child, my response was laziness. I would just rebel. But as an adult, a lot of these responses aren't acceptable, or they don't tend to accomplish any static goal. Like, when you look at the individuals who have had some of the greatest impacts on humanity, Gandhi, the individual story of Jesus is based off, Martin Luther King, Mandela. A lot of these figures, the way that they chose to respond to authority was simply through non-compliance. They allowed their non-compliance to reveal the unfairness of the situation. They, through their non-compliance, now all of a sudden the bullying can no longer be hidden. before the bullying was hidden within rituals and customs and festivals. And it was disguised as fun. But when you see some people non-compliant where they're not willing to participate in their own humiliation, then now now it's painful to look at. Now the shame and the guilt come in. Like, what are you doing? They're not doing anything. You're being a bully. Even when I think back as when I was a child, and my brain worked in a way that my instructors simply hadn't considered. Very likely they hadn't come across someone whose brain worked the way that mine did. They hadn't learned to study these things, as that information wasn't circulating through the environment in which I went to school. So I'm not blaming these teachers, but at the same time, I do understand that because they were operating through authority, and as they didn't know how to have a reasonable response to a child, to a child who simply could not function in a way that their instructions demanded. Do it like this, do it like this. Like, I can't. I'm literally looking. Even now, and I was dealing with a child the other day, and this child was, full of energy, wanted to waste some time, and I'm like, I don't mind this child wasting time, but maybe they can be productive. So I set up some coursework, let them do the whole thing, and the first thing the child does is try to shortcut the whole work. They copy and paste something, so I'm going like, what did you learn? I learned that the multifaceted, multi-tool of it, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, you don't use those words. Like, what? Like, what? But how do I respond? Do I call them a liar? Do I become the authority and force them to recognize my will? Or do I explain to them why that method didn't work, and explain to them with a bit more toned down instructions about my intentions toward the behavior? Say, hey, listen, I know you're not in school today, and I know you like learning. So if you would just, you pick something, I'll let you choose what you want to learn, and we can talk about it afterwards. We can make a game. And then the child was more eager to look for their own learning. So I didn't confront them. I didn't resort to aggression. I didn't try to be the authority. I simply used non-compliance. I'm not going to comply with this behavior, but I'm not going to force you to acknowledge my behavior. Oh, what up, Stroke? Oh, man, I ain't seen you in a minute, brother. Man, we might gotta kick it soon. Oh, I don't know what all the emojis mean. I'm not as cool a hick as the young cats. Hey, come on, bro. We not about to do that. We not about to do that. We're both adults here. We both know how to have humor without trying to insult and break down another person. You my brother. So I actually it says same house. Hey Tavy, you might have to send me your address. It's been a while since I've been to Cleveland. I'm in Cleveland now, but it's been a hot minute. So a lot of things from my childhood, I just I know which part of the city you live in, but not the house number. So you shoot me that, and maybe I'll go over there Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, that'll be all right. Davey! So yeah, it's important that, at least for me, that I recognize that one, this child does view me as an authority, and because they view me as authority, they're going to operate in a way where they don't want to get in trouble, where they want to make sure they have the right answer. And I had to let them know that, I'm not looking for a right or a wrong answer. There's no good or bad here. There's just, are you actively thinking? Are you using your ability to reason? Are you what information are you consuming? I just want to put a bit more, intention behind what you're doing. And when it comes to adult, we ain't playing the games. I like, all right, be responsible adult, and then we like that already happened. Especially when it comes to authority, since authorities like to use aggression. And so I guess instead of saying what's the appropriate response, a reasonable response to authority, what's a reasonable response to aggression? Well, How do you respond when someone attempts to impose their will on you? When someone attempts to disempower you, to make you seem less, and to live and benefit, like to elevate themselves at your expense? What do you do when someone tries to step on you? I was talking to a child, and this particular child had issues with their peer group. Their peer group were insulting them because of their attire, so they had some Jordans, and clean, like they was clean outfit. You're not dismissed. You're not dismissed. I'm simply continue. Like, if you comment in chat, I'll join in. But I also have other people watching. This is still a podcast, so I'm gonna stay on subject until we get that back and forth engagement. You know the back. You we kicked it together. We roll, man. You know how we roll. You know it's all love, sister. And these peer groups of this child, stepped on the shoes, shoved them around, in ways in which the adults present would dismiss their responses. And the kid like, what do I do? How do I stop this? And I told them a bit about non-compliance, about setting boundaries, about being able to enforce those boundaries without violence, about speaking loudly, like about bringing attention to the behavior that isn't mutual. Someone said to me, hey, why would you step on my shoes like that? Go ahead. I don't want to be a snitch. Tattle. Do it. Because you have to I know that this child has to develop the willpower to enforce boundaries now. Otherwise, as they grow up, they'll be conditioned to having their boundaries crossed and to, not really doing anything about it. Oh man. Y'all, look. Stroke. Tavy, I appreciate y'all coming in, joining the conversation. Facebook, YouTube, y'all get in on this conversation, baby. It's your boy Absird. I film these live on Facebook every Sunday at 6 o'clock. Normally on Mondays I shoot these over to YouTube. And then of course when I film these on Facebook, recently I've been doing them over on IG so that we can have everybody can be a part of the conversation, and it gets my content out there. Give me something to post. In terms of social media, I've been trying to practice doing more original content. Like I do try to share content, 2-3 times a week, not including this. But I am going to try to have more original content out there, just to up my production. And man, I've been doing some good jobs, y'all. Like, I've been getting myself pats on the back a little. So I've been extremely exhausted because I've been overworking myself. I've been doing like physically intensive labor and working out. And it turns out I figured this out the hard way, that while I do physically intensive labor, I should focus more time and attention on stretching than working out, so that I can relax those muscles. But y'all, I took a Epsom salt bath, and look, if y'all want to support the stream, y'all can hit the Cashapp at $, ABSIRD. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can hit that like button, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, Instagram, give me that follow. Hit the DM, talk to your boy. Let's have a conversation. I want to talk to you. Anyway, it's your boy Absird. Ooh, before I go, I just want to remind y'all that the most powerful effects in human history have resulted from responding with non-compliance to aggression. Just because the authorities are trying to impose, dictate, and bully you does not mean you have to sit there and tolerate it. Does not mean you have to respond to their triggers and be filled with the frustration and rage that you're trying to instill and force in you. All right, y'all.